Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and a privilege to be able to present Discovery Business Insurance and launch it for the first time to you this morning. Firstly, at the outset, I'd like to thank you for the significant support we've had from all of you over the last 7 years within Discovery Insure. Adrian showed some of the numbers in terms of how the business is scaling. Today, we're a business that looks after and manages premiums in excess of 3.5 billion rand, 201,000 vehicles, 159 billion rand worth of buildings. So we certainly have scaled as an organization, and it's really thanks to you and the partnership that we have with you that made this possible and made this happen. For many years, we've thought that as we develop new innovations within the personal line space, and as we see the significant actuarial results of that coming through, that there'd be an opportunity to offer the same to the commercial market. And today, we're going to do exactly that. Sorry. So I'd like to just spend a little bit of time just looking at how the model has played out. So from an actuarial perspective, we've seen the significant impact of people when people are measured and incentivized on how they drive, how they go from poor drivers to good drivers. We've seen this significant shift when a cohort of drivers join Discovery Insure and how they move from 38% of them being good drivers to 70% of them being good drivers over a period of 6 years. So there's a significant shift across sort of good to bad to good driving. We see that people that are getting active rewards as one indication and one measure of good driving behavior, we see how their loss ratio is significantly better than poor drivers. In fact, 66% lower for clients that are getting their regular active rewards compared to clients that aren't. We know that clients are benefiting significantly from that. 550 million rands worth of fuel benefits have been paid to clients to date, 500,000 active rewards redeemed, and the benefits that our clients get from Uber can take them around the world 40 times. We also know that there've been a number of technology innovations that we've brought to the market that weren't there previously. Starting from 2011, when we launched DQ Track for the first time, and today I'd argue we have one of the largest bases, probably the largest base of measured drivers in the world in terms of any other insurance business. We then, at the same time, launched Impact Alert, giving us the ability to respond proactively to an accident. We introduced unique driver profiles, being able to know when someone else is driving a vehicle and respond to that, and we do that every single day on a regular basis. We introduced smartphone telematics together with our partner out of MIT in Boston, where we made technology and telematics available to more customers and allowed us to be able to scale the business at a quicker rate. And we've won a number of awards from that technology. And more recently, CrowdSearch, which over time will become, we believe, a disruptor in the SVR, stolen vehicle recovery space, already being used across a number of our high-risk vehicles. All of this giving us significant amount of data, probably one of the biggest data sets in the world, where we're able to, at any point in time, drill down and know exactly where our risks lie. We can draw a heat map, something like that on the right. This was done last week. We took at a snapshot within a period of time. We wanted to know where our risks were, how did that correlate to where accidents typically take place, to where road surfaces are poor, and there's a high prevalence of potholes. And we used the same technology in a recent crisis in Knysna, where last year, during the Knysna fires, we were able to immediately know where our risks were, reach out to every single customer within 24 hours, and to be the first insurer in the South African marketplace on the ground responding to real risks, all through the data that we have available to ourselves. So it makes sense, with this as a backdrop, that we will take these technologies and these innovations and bring it into the commercial insurance world. And by doing so, create the first truly shared value commercial insurance business. So to introduce to you today, Discovery Business Insurance. Underpinning it and at the cornerstone of it is a trusted multi-peril product structure, which many of you that are in the short-term insurance world would understand very well. But adding to that, we've introduced risks of today, and we've effectively taken it multi-mark to the power of X. We've innovated across all the different main insurance classes, from property and accident, and brought in things like broad business interruption cover, liabilities, and covering risks of today, such as cyber liability, or motor, rewarding fleet drivers, innovating across every single class of commercial insurance. All of this is backed by two of the largest reinsurance companies in the world, Munich Re and Swiss Re, which together with the Discovery balance sheet allows us to take significant risk and at the same time have access to the best of global expertise. I'd like to spend a little bit of time looking at the property risk within a business. But we don't look just at the physical property. We're looking at the business more holistically. Adrian spoke a little bit about the importance of business and the importance of growing business. And we inherently believe that for South Africa to thrive and for high unemployment to be tackled, we need more businesses. We need smaller businesses to grow quicker, and we need more sustainability within the business environment. We know that a higher proportion of GDP is driven by private enterprise, and so much of it by small and medium-sized enterprises, employing over 80% of people in formal employment. And while we know that businesses have grown over the last couple of years, the rate of growth is not great enough to deal with the immense challenges that we have. We also know that small businesses face high risk. In fact, 50% of small businesses fail within their first 5 years through a number of factors, such as interruptions within businesses and businesses not being able to trade, through poor financial management, and a number of other factors that are affecting small businesses. We also inherently believe that businesses that are growing quicker and businesses that are better run are better insurance risks. So we've worked closely with Endeavour, that is the market leader, the global market leader, at supporting high growth entrepreneurs. And we've worked with them. They've got 20 years of experience across 80,000 companies that they've screened to understand what makes a good business a great business. We understand the importance of the need for capital, in the need to access markets, and the need for talent. And we've been able to package that into a solution and make it available to our clients. This manifests in 3 ways. Firstly, we've packaged that IP into a diagnostic that our clients have access to. Once they go through that diagnostic, we produce a business score as well as a gap analysis across 4 different dimensions on areas where the business could consider improving. Going through the diagnostic and going through this process then opens up a marketplace where we've partnered with a number of companies that provide significant and important solutions to such businesses. Businesses that support, business leaders through mentoring, executive education through the likes of Gibbs or The Economist, providing access to capital through the likes of merchant capital in an innovative way, technology through Amazon Web Services, PR through Edelman's, and contracts through Origins, and a number of other businesses, Sage in terms of assisting them with business sort of fundamental needs for their business. So a number of important partners at preferential rates that will help our businesses ultimately become more sustainable and lower risk. What Endeavour's experience has shown is that companies that have access to the right advice, the right partners, grow 3 times quicker than those in their peer group, and they employ at a 5 times greater rate than those in their peer group. So we absolutely believe that companies that have access to this should be able to perform better than they were performing before. We know also that companies, if you ask business owners and if you ask entrepreneurs, what are things that worry them the most? You know that we find out often that it's business interruption that worries them the most significant. But it's the inability to trade, the inability to run the operations on a regular basis is one of the biggest things that worry them. And it's one of the key reasons for businesses failing that I put up earlier. We know as well that business interruption is included in multi-peril policies, typically in the property section, and requires material damage of property for it to kick in. So we've decided to create one of the most extensive business interruption packages available in the South African marketplace by extending it to other classes of risk as well, such as theft across various classes, damage to electronic equipment, damage or loss to motor vehicles, all of that triggering a business interruption event. And we'll continue to expand on it, as we know it's an absolutely critical issue affecting business owners. We also know the importance of risk management, and we know that to be able to assess a risk and be able to offer proper advice to mitigate and reduce a risk is absolutely critical. So we've invested heavily in technology to make all this happen, and we've done this in 4 ways. Firstly, we've invested in an application to allow our team of skilled engineers to go out to a business premises, gather all the right information in a very, very high-tech way, very different to how the market currently operates, and to take all that raw information and provide valuable inputs back to the business. drone technology to assess risks that otherwise wouldn't be seen, or thermal graphics infrared technology to be able to find potential hotspots in electrical conduits or DB boards. We've also invested in smart glasses to be able to use experts back at our office and remotely look at a client's premises without needing to go to every single customer. For low-risk customers that might not need such sophisticated technology, we've invested in an online portal that they can go in and effectively assess their own risk, and out of that have recommendations to help improve the risk of their organization. And this ultimately produces a comprehensive business risk report for the customer. Discovery Insure over the last 7 years across 201,000 vehicles has developed a deep understanding of motor risk. We know the importance of making sure that clients drive well and that people understand what good driving is all about. We understand the significant impact of motor vehicle accidents on South Africa, both from a human perspective, a personal perspective, as well as from a financial perspective, costing the country 143 billion rand every year, or 3.4% of GDP in motor vehicle accidents. And despite all the attempts to improve this, the rate of accidents continues to go up, growing by 19% per annum over the past 3 years. We also know that motor vehicle accidents are largely behavioral. In fact, 60% of accidents are caused by impaired driving as well as aggressive driving behavior. And we know that with the right incentives, this can be changed. We've done a lot of work around fleets and piloting over the last number of years to see whether the same phenomena that we experience within the personal lines environment would be experienced within commercial. And in fact, we find it's even more so. And it actually makes sense when you think about it, that the link between a driver of a fleet and their vehicle is less direct than an individual owning their own vehicle and having an inherent reason to drive the vehicle well. We also know that besides the high rate of accidents, the inefficiency within fuel, the high cost of maintenance and wear and tear adds to significant cost for most organizations within their fleets. So we're introducing now Vitality Drive for Business. How this works is we effectively incentivize two parties. The driver we incentivize through active rewards, something we know a lot about across all our organizations where active rewards now works and makes a significant difference. We offer drivers a weekly reward for meeting a score of 70 out of 100 or 70 or greater out of 100 by giving them a choice whether to go for airtime, a drink, or a meal, and incentivizing to make a significant change to their behavior. And the feedback we've got from some samples and pilots we've done has been significant across those different elements of rewards. In addition, for the fleet owner itself, what we do is we incentivize them with a rebate on their premium on an annual basis, but calculated based on their monthly driver score. So take a fleet, we take the aggregate of all the vehicles on the fleet, and we calculate a Vitality Drive status between blue and diamond. Diamond 30%, and anywhere in between where the score turns out to be on a monthly basis. Let's take an example. Let's take a fleet of 4 vehicles, getting a score, paying a premium, 3 vehicles paying a premium of 4,000 Rand a month, and getting a score of 74. They'd be eligible for a 15% or silver status, and they'd get effectively 600 Rand back for that month, accumulated to their annual premium payback. So summed up over the 12 months, a significant amount of money for both medium-sized, small, and large fleets. How this works in practice is a fleet can choose whether to take Vitality Drive, either for the whole fleet, a portion of the fleet. It's ultimately up to yourself as advisor and your client to decide exactly how to implement Vitality Drive within the fleet environment. For those cars that are on Vitality Drive, we'd receive information about the car, identifying the vehicle, and identifying the driver on a portal that's made available to yourself. The client will then be able to download, or the driver will be able to download the Vitality Drive app and go to Tiger Wheel and Tyre and get the sensor. What we've done as well, for the first time ever done in the insurance industry, is create a product that's open architecture. So we've partnered initially with Netstar and with C-Track. For fleets that already have such technology in their vehicles, we're able to access that data by them just signing over and agreeing for us to have that data at no additional cost. So all these benefits will then be available with no further technology outlay required. And lastly, it just takes for the driver to drive well, earn fleet rewards, and for both the driver themselves as well as the fleet owner in those 3 steps. All the innovations that Discovery Insure have brought to the motor environment are made available now within Discovery Business Insurance. So from the innovations of safety features that I spoke about earlier, to the write-off accelerator, where a fleet owner can decide to write a vehicle off at a much lower premium if they've elected that choice, a much lower threshold if they've elected that choice, at 40 or 50% damage. Or the retail value booster, where a higher than retail value can be paid out, typically for fleets in good condition, where the value is insufficient to pay them enough to purchase another vehicle should there be a write-off. Lastly, what I'd like to do a demo of is what we're offering for fleet owners effectively in terms of the technology to monitor and manage their entire fleet. So typically large fleets have sophisticated technology that they can use to see exactly where their vehicles are and use that information to be more efficient. But that's typically not available for smaller companies, or if it is, it's too expensive to access. So we're now launching a fleet portal that will be made available to all our clients on our fleet product. And I'm going to do a quick demo of how that will work. So you log into the Discovery world, and you click on Business Insurance. After that, you click on Live Track, and a list of all the vehicles under fleet will come up. This will show you exactly where the vehicle is in real time, whether the vehicle is driving, whether the vehicle is stationary. At a snapshot, you'll be able to see exactly where your fleet is. By then clicking on another view, you'll be able to see all the drivers, all their scores, how much distance is being traveled, and be able to highlight one particular drive and see exactly how the driver is performing, whether the driver is driving well, badly, be able to rank all the drivers in a fleet, be able to create competition between different divisions in a company, and create some gamification to ultimately serve the goal of improving the way the entire fleet operates. As I said, this is typically available only in the large fleet space. We're making this available to all our fleet customers at no additional cost. When we set out to develop Discovery Business Insurance, we wanted to make sure that we were covering the risks of today, not just the risks of yesterday. And it didn't make sense for us that despite the top 10 risks facing businesses constantly changing, the commercial insurance world has been the same largely since the 1990s. So we wanted to make sure that we were covering the correct risks. South Africa ranks number 3 in the Cyber Exposure Risk Index globally. South Africa is not immune to some of the big cyber risks. For example, the WannaCry ransomware that happened in May 2017. Many South African customers were affected by that. So as a result of that, we're introducing holistic cyber insurance cover that aims to both assess as well as mitigate risks that companies could be exposed to. And these are companies of all sizes, whether a medical practice that needs to keep doctors' records safe, or a manufacturing business that's subject to a production line connected to a sophisticated network of servers. Every single customer is exposed in some way to cyber risk. We've partnered with a company called Aves, who are able to assess a client's risk, as well as to provide them with competitive and discounted risk mitigation solutions. Let's look at an example of how it works. A company reports a cyber risk or suspected cyber risk in their business. They report it through Insure24, our 24-hour line for all claims to be reported. We then remotely are able to log into the client's computer system, assess what the damage is, and provide a solution to both mitigate immediately as well as provide a longer-term solution to avoid that happening again. The cover is wide, and it covers both first-party risks of data loss to yourself as well as third-party risks should someone else sue you for the data breach. Importantly as well, we've extended business interruption cover as an additional extension for business interruption as a result of a cyber breach. With the growth in technology and the high rate of communication, everyone is becoming a journalist, and we've got this concept of citizen journalism. We know that information can travel around the world very quickly and can do significant damage to a corporate. And we've seen many examples of that in the South African marketplace. So as a result, we've launched 2 new covers, social media liability, as well as crisis and reputational risk, crisis and reputational management. Looking at the social media liability part first, companies have been affected up to 750 million rands worth of claims over the past couple of years due to adverse events happening within social media, either mistake or purposeful, but those events have affected companies to the extent of 750 million rand. So Multimark to the power of X effectively extends the general liability section and makes effectively social media cover available to customers should they have an unfavorable social media incident. Sorry. Secondly, on the crisis and reputational management product, we effectively launched and designed the first product of its type in South Africa. We've partnered with a global leading reputational management firm, Edelman, who will provide a holistic solution for clients that are involved in a reputational crisis. Using their 65 offices around the world, we can provide a 24-hour solution to such customers by them effectively reporting the incident, us connecting them with an appropriate expert, and giving them a full response to that particular crisis. And all of that embedded within the product. What you see on the screen there effectively is a listing of what you typically would expect in a multi-peril commercial product. These are the products that are available in most of the marketplace, and most clients have those products. We've decided to extend it and offer a number of risks that are appropriate to today, and that also ensures that we are mitigating risk and not just responding to risks. Things like covering hybrid vehicles or cyber liability that I spoke about earlier are not available in the current marketplace and are available now for the first time through Discovery Business Insurance. So bringing it all together, you have here a business that's embedded with a cornerstone of Multimark with products and coverage that you're familiar with. We're enhancing this to the power of X with covering the risks of today. And underneath that, we are adding a number of tools and services to ensure that we make the process better. Technology such as telematics, drones, infrared technology or smart glasses, online tools, diagnostics, all of this improving the overall offering that customers get. And then using 26 years of Vitality experience, we bring in Vitality Drive for fleets, as well as Vitality Business, using the partnership that we have with Endeavour to make, ultimately, businesses better. In addition, we have integrated with with the top 4 broker systems in the marketplace, which many of you may use, Till, Genesis, Sims, and Flexi, as well as the premium collection agencies, Fulcrum and IOM, to make the process as seamless as possible to short-term insurance advisors. Quotes are available from next Monday, Monday the 21st, and activations from the 1st of June. Again, just to thank you for your time, your support, and looking forward to continue interacting with you. Thank you.